Good morning, children. Welcome back to today's online session of Class 7 English. This is your Srinivas, English teacher from DAV High School. Hope you are all doing well. Let us learn about degrees of comparison.
Yes, dear children, we learnt about adjectives in the previous session. Let us see once again. Adjectives are modifiers. They modify nouns or pronouns. This means they change the image of a noun or pronoun, which means they change the meaning of a noun or pronoun. Adjectives can be located by asking the questions what kind, which one, how many, how much. By asking these questions, we can get the answer that is an adjective. Dear children, for example, let us take one example. Ramu is a good boy. Here the word good, it modifies the noun. It adds extra information to the noun that is boy. Boy is common noun. Here, how is Ramu? Ramu is a good boy. Yes, let us take a look at this slide. Degrees of comparison are used when we describe a person, a place, or a thing. When do we use degrees of comparison? Degrees of comparison is usually used when we describe a person, a place, or a thing. Adjectives make the comparison. Remember, adjectives are describing words as we discussed in the earlier slides. For example, the first one fast, slow, big, small. These are all positive adjectives. Understand? How can we say that here positive adjective? Let us see. Here the first one is degrees of comparison. Degrees of comparison can be classified into three types. First one is positive degree, second one comparative degree, third one superlative degree. Now let us see positive degree. What is positive degree? What is positive comparison? This type of positive comparison is used for when we only describe one person, one place, or one thing. Here we do not find any comparison. Understand? Here it describes only one person, or one place, or one thing. Let us take a look at the first example. The house is big. How is the house? Just look at the picture. How is the house? The house is big. Here you do not find any comparison. So here it tells about the house. How is the house? Big. Here the word big is positive adjective. Let us look at another example. That girl is smart. How is the girl? The girl is smart. Here the word smart is positive adjective. How can we say that here it is a positive adjective? Because in this positive adjective, positive comparison, there is no comparison. It tells about that girl. Understand? How is the girl? Smart. Right. Now let us see another example. The radio was loud. How was the radio? Loud. Here the word loud, positive adjective. Dear children, let us take a look into another one, that is comparative degree. The comparative degree is when we compare two people or two things or two places to each other. The comparison is made between two persons, two places, or two things to each other. Understand here? Right. Now let us take a look at first example. The house is big, but my house is bigger. So dear children, let us look at the first one, left side house, and you can see the right side house. The left side house is big. Understand? What about the right side? It is bigger. Bigger. By adding er to the big, then we can make it as comparative adjective. The house, the left side house is big, but the right side house is bigger. Here you can find the comparison is made between two houses. Understand? So big, bigger. Big is positive adjective, whereas bigger is comparative adjective. Now let us see another example. The radio was loud, but the TV was louder. Here the comparison is made between two things. Understand? Radio and TV. How was the sound? Loud. How was the sound of the radio? Loud. Compared to the TV, okay na? Here the TV sound is louder. The radio was loud, but the TV was louder. Here loud, louder. Loud is positive adjective, whereas louder is comparative adjective. Now let us see some rules how to make a comparative adjective. By adding er to the positive adjective, we can form comparative adjective. Dear children, now let us see the first one, fast. Just we can add er to the positive adjective, we can make it as comparative adjective. Fast, faster, slow, slower, big, bigger, small, smaller, tall, taller. See here, just look at the picture. Yes, I am tall, he is taller. The comparison is made between two persons. Right, now let us see some more examples. Painful, more painful. Hopeful, more hopeful. Beautiful, more beautiful. Expensive, more expensive. Adjectives ending in full or ye we use more. Dear children, try to remember one thing. When positive adjectives ends with full or ye, ful, full or ye, we use more in comparative adjectives. Yes, so there is an exception in comparative degrees, especially here in these cases. Good, better, bad, worse, many or much, more, little or few, less, far, farther, further, old, older, elder. So this is all exception. Here you do not find more. Understand? Here completely the structure will be changed accordingly. Now let us see the third one is degrees of comparison. The third one, superlative degree. What is superlative degree? Superlative degree is used when comparing more than two people or two places or two things. The comparison is made more than two persons or two places or two things. For example, she was the smartest girl in the class. She was the smartest. Understand? See, let us take a look at the slide. We can observe, we can find there are four girls. The very first girl scored A grade. So we can say that the first girl is the smartest girl. Dear children, one thing you should remember in superlative degree, superlative degrees, superlative adjectives usually formed by adding est to the positive adjective. Smart plus est, smartest. Dear children, remember one thing. Before superlative adjectives, we should use definite article the. The is used before superlative adjectives. How can we find out superlative adjectives? If the word ends with est, that is known as superlative adjectives. Right? What is the superlative adjective in the given example? Smartest. We should use the smartest. Right? Another example. The biggest house on the block was for sale. So what is the superlative adjective here? The biggest. Here just you can find there are many houses, but the right side house is the biggest house. Understand? Here the biggest is the superlative adjective. Now let us see some more examples. Painful, more painful, most painful, hopeful, more hopeful, most hopeful, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, flexible, more flexible, most flexible. Dear children, I told you we discussed in the previous slide about adding most and more, especially here by adding ending. If the word ends with, if the adjectives ends in ful or e, we use most. Understand? For example, here painful, ful. Okay, next one here flexible, e. So what should we use here? More and most. And now let us see exception to the rule: good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, many, much, more, most, little, few, less, least. We discussed good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, many, much, more, most, little, few, less, least. Identify the degree. The lion is a strong animal. How is the animal strong? Here there is no comparison, so we can say it is positive. Rachel is the kindest of all. Understand here? Okay, now here the comparison is made among many. So here the kindest is superlative. The apple is sweeter than the pear. Here the comparison is made between the apple and the pear. So the sweeter is comparative adjective. Fourth one, it is a tall building. How is the building? Tall. Here you do not find any comparison, so it is positive. Tall is positive. Fifth one, facilitator Anthea had the most wonderful birthday cake. Here the words most wonderful is superlative adjective, because here the comparison is made among many. So here most wonderful is the superlative. Dear children, so let us get into the textbook. At the end of the textbook, at the end of the very first lesson, the town mouse and the country mouse, we can find degrees of comparison. So here you can see and try to find out what is the comparative, what is the superlative. Try to fill by using the previous slides, by referring the previous slides. Words with two or more than two syllables take more and most respectively in comparative degree and superlative degree. Syllable is nothing but vowel sound, one vowel sound. Here how many syllables? Here two syllables. If you find two or more than two syllables, we should take more or most. For example, here useful, there are two syllables. Useful. Then what is the comparative degree? More useful, most useful. Now beautiful, interested, doubtful, precious, delicious, dreadful, cheerful. Dear children, try to write what is comparative adjective, what is superlative adjective. This is your post test. And note, unlike the above, some words change completely in other degrees: positive degree, comparative degree, superlative degree. The first one is done for you: much, more, most. Okay, now try to complete the remaining. So I hope you understood the topic of degrees of comparison. How many types of comparisons can we see? There are three types. One is positive degree, second one comparative degree, third one superlative degree. We learnt in this session positive adjectives, comparative adjectives, superlative adjectives.